Thank you so much for once again joining me, the_Dab86, as we go over how to deal with the Butcher to the brave and bold adventures of Sanctuary, as you've now stepped foot into a dungeon and have the unfortunality of running into the Butcher. If you're a hardcore player and you're solo, I just advise run. But if you're bold enough and brave enough, just follow this guide. So for the Butcher, I had the blessing of fighting him 3 separate times. Once on my Necromancer, which is the footage you're about to see. Once on my Druid, which the footage is not in part of this. And then once on my Sorceress, who was level 10, and I was able to solo him using a very particular way of doing it. So from what I noticed is he has his normal attack, his left, swipe right. He has a headbutt. If you get too far away from him, he will charge you. And then he has a scream that will slow you down and allow him to catch up to you. Now, what I found out with my Sorceress is if I pillared him, so basically just running around a pillar, and when he'd get to me, he would stop to attack, it would allow me to get some distance so I could attack him. I used Chain Lightning to bounce back between him and me to do large amounts of damage when I could. And what also helped me was the affix that where if you attack an elite, you get a shield, which allowed me to also tank some of his damage because he does a large amount of damage, particularly from his headbutt and charge. His left and right swipe aren't too bad. And of course, his yell doesn't do any damage. It just slows you. But outside of that, I could have sworn there was one more attack that he did, but I don't quite remember. But this is how he operates. I, of course, was unfortunate enough to attack him and also have an elite there as well. So you see the headbutt, you see the left swipe, right swipe, left swipe. The Crepify doesn't really work on him. Things that I would advise doing, if you're playing a Sorceress, of course, Chain Lightning, Hydra if you're high enough level. If you're a Druid, if you have your companions at that point, using those. Anything that you can use that doesn't directly put you in direct conflict with him, because he does do a large chunk of damage whenever he hits. And he does lots of damage really quickly. If you're using our Barbarian, honestly, you're probably going to have to kite him and use Ancestral Spirit or your ancestors to do really a lot of the fighting for you. If you're with a Necromancer, I would probably recommend letting your skeletons do a lot. If you have a Golem, definitely letting the Golem, because it respawns on its own without any corpses every 20 seconds after being killed. So that will go a long way to helping keep you alive. With the Druid, the companions, like I said, let's see. Another good thing is if you have the ultimate, the Bone Storm would be good because you can kite around and keep him kind of at like a distance like that. But as you'll see, he has to stop to attack. So if you move right as he swings, you can actually avoid the hit altogether. And that's where pillaring him came into play, because I was able to avoid a lot of the damage. Thing is, you know, with the Necromancer, you're going to run out of corpses eventually, and to keep that in mind. But pillaring him and letting him do that, because as you can see, once he dies, he goes away. That's the fight with him. But I was able to actually fight him and kill him. You can see him in the image here. He is down. And I did it solo at level 10, all thanks to Chain Lightning. Wrapping around that pillar that's right below his corpse there. I just kept running around it in circles. When I'd get the shield from the affix, I'd engage. If I got slowed, it was great to have that. And of course, I only used my dodge mechanic to, of course, keep me alive longer to avoid or get to that time frame of being able to use my shield again from my affix. But anything that allows you to keep moving and dealing damage to the boss is phenomenal against him. Druids, depending on how you do the build, can be a bit rough, especially since their stuff is either channeled or you have to stand still. Barbarians is also going to be a bit rough as well. If you're in a group, of course, he's going to run back between the two of you, so that kind of helps as well. The one that's being chased, just pillar him. The other one actually gets a chance to attack and then reverse. Just remember that he does have a charge if you're far enough away, and he will charge to you. And I do believe it has a stun effect, just like his headbutt does. So you can quickly end up taking a lot of damage if you're not careful. So keep that in mind. And as always, if you found the guide helpful, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, ring the bell, and come follow me at Twitch at _Dab86.